All right, so here's my 1975 Ford Courier in Phoenix Blue. This is just going to be a quick walk around, but I do these so you can actually see what this truck looks like on video. A lot of times there's not a lot of videos on the specialty vehicles, so why not? Um, but yeah, this is factory paint. It's never been repainted. It shines up pretty decent. It's been buffed. As you can see here, being the 75, it does say Ford on the back rather than Courier. They switched that in 75. It's got the tie downs, which is so cool. All that is made of metal, so you can tie anything down to to that truck. These trucks were pretty cool because even though they're small, they actually got 1,400 towing capacity on it, so that's pretty neat. Anyways, this is like a Mazda B series truck. That's what it's based after, but it got a Ford grill, Ford tailgate, stuff like that. Inside, pretty bare bones. As you can see, it's got the painted door panels and dash. Another way to tell that it's factory paint, but that is so cool. And the white vinyl, kind of like a basket weave, very easy to clean. The door handles, chrome and metal. Here for the window, manual winders. So no power, nothing to break. The little wing windows, these are awesome. I had these in my 72 Volkswagen, and actually in early Porsches had those too. That is your air conditioning. They're usually stiff too because people don't use them. I don't know why. I think it's the coolest thing that needs to come back to cars. White vinyl bench seat. Not a lot of room in there, but you know what? I'm 6'2". I fit perfectly fine, even with that factory steering wheel. You can even see that it's got the thin steering wheel with the plastic coating. Those can be restored pretty easily. They can even be leather wrapped if you want. Inside, there's really not a lot in here. Once you're in there, you get it. Get the thin A pillars because there's no airbags, so it's great visibility. Any vintage car like that would have that. You get your horn right there. It says Ford. 2 gauges, but combo gauges inside there. Got your switches, also metal dash. Here's your key on the right hand side, not in the steering column. So easy to replace if you ever lose it. Just change that ignition switch out, but that is factory. Your cigarette lighter, or I guess plug your cell phone into it. Here's your HVAC system. So rather than AC, it just has fresh air, but does have good heat. And those are your fan switches, and here's your radio. Once again, a couple of buttons. You can have some pre-saved stations on there, about 5 or so. Your dash, very basic. It is like a plastic foam, needs to be replaced, or you can get the cover lay for it. Those are cheap, but fairly easy to do that. Favorite part of the truck is right here, the all-metal dashboard. This glove box just pops open, and there's your cup holder with your spring torsion. So there's no hydraulics to go bad. Those little air struts, those little lifter struts that always go bad on the later cars. But here's just spring. Cup holders are nothing to be desired, but it hasn't broken yet. And it's fun to play with. It works. Here's your passenger side. And you can keep your maps in there, your gloves in there, the books. Rubber, vinyl flooring, stick shift, and blue seatbelts, because why not? I think it looks cool. More blue, more metal also. You see the use in plastic these days. It was starting to in the 70s and 80s, but man, it was just to imagine that they actually had color-coded interior parts. How neat is that? The truck's pretty solid. It has some rust in that lower rocker, but it's just like the skin. The frame's good. No giant holes, nothing like that. Pop the hood. Nice little metal handle. And in this hood, the bonnet, it folds forward, a lot like European cars. After working on cars for over 20 years, this is how I prefer it for a couple of reasons, but also those are easy to remove if you did have to get to the front. I mean, you can remove that hood, just a couple of bolts. But then you don't bang your head when you're working on it, and you get a lot of visibility. If you got overhead lights, you can see. Here is your carburetor. It's just simple carb, downdraft, easy to rebuild, replace, and clean. Which every once in a while you're gonna have to clean it because it gets gunk in that float bowl with the bad gas that we're getting these days. Anyways, you can see, and it's got a new battery. Easy wiring there. I always do a battery cutoff switch on anything that's old, mainly because you just don't want the thing to die while it's sitting over the winter, depending on what kind of car. Like this car can be driven in the winter, but some of the sports cars, they hibernate here in Maryland, Virginia, Pennsylvania. It gets pretty cold. The roads are pretty gross. Yep, here's your gas. Fill up your gasoline right in there. Still, super easy. Metal gas cap, no plastic. It's got the 6-lug wheels. These things had a towing capacity of like 1,400 or the hauling capacity in there. So it could actually like haul quite a bit of stuff. Drop the bed down for you. You can see what's neat about this is they use like these metal chains on both sides. And that way, like you could stand on that thing. I mean, you could have so much weight back there and it is not going to break. Heavy, heavy duty metal brackets. Those hinges are just awesome. And just metal latches. Yeah, this one's stamped Ford, which is cool. I like it when it says Ford, a little bit better than Courier. And then you just get the little Courier badge. And same thing on the front hood. And then it's got the chrome door handles, which are super easy. Well, this is what it's like to drive a 1975 Ford Courier. I believe this is Phoenix Blue. Now these would be considered a light truck, small truck, mini truck. It's pretty comfortable though. It's all factory. I really miss these trucks, like vehicles like this. Just simple. Nothing to distract you. I got a nice seatbelt that keeps squeaking on me. Everything's made of vinyl or plastic. You got these cool metal dashes that are painted like the car, and hey look, even matching blue seatbelts. I was just thinking, like, a lot of people, it's like, do you even know what this is like? I mean, I've owned it for a while now, a couple years. So I take it for granted. But a lot of people might think like, whoa, that's cool, I've never heard of one of those. Well, it uses a little Mazda 4-cylinder engine. Timing chain. It's about 30 degrees out too. A little cold. But when you're in a small truck like this and it's all windows, the sun starts hitting you, it gets hot quick. Very comfortable. These very thin steering wheels. You know, a lot of this, I mean, maybe you may have grown up with these. I've seen them all over the road back in the 70s and the 80s, especially during the gas crisis. See, back in the 70s, there was a time that you couldn't get gasoline. If you did, you were only allowed a certain amount. But what that did was that forced in a lot of smaller engines, lighter vehicles, Volkswagen Rabbids, imports, Hondas, Toyotas. Yeah, Ford didn't really have anything. The Ford Ranger, that was a big truck. Not like nowadays. That thing could be electric for all I know. I don't know. But Mazda had these cool little rotary engines over in Japan. Oh, they ended up throwing a normal 4-cylinder in it, throwing a Ford tailgate on it, Ford grill, Ford steering wheel, painted blue. Well, you can't tell the difference. And then you got yourself a little gas zipper. And even today, 2024, we still get a problem with gasoline. Yeah, gas goes down for a little bit. We buy V8s again and big old SUVs and trucks. Gas prices go up. We start looking for little fuel economy cars, older cars, little beater cars. Oh, you can see this is easy to drive. It'd be like driving one of those Japanese K cars nowadays. Or even a go-kart, golf cart, something like that. It's small. You got a lot of lane. There's nothing to distract you. There's a radio, 2 knobs. Yeah, we're just cruising these back roads. I do get asked a lot. Some of the cars, like when it's time to sell them, or people just questioning, and they're like, hey, you know, how fast does it go? Can you get it on the highway? Yeah, you can drive anything on the highway. It just might piss a lot of people off. Can I drive it to California? I don't know. Sure. Will it make it? I don't know. If it doesn't, get yourself a tow truck. Buy yourself a newer vehicle. These are weird questions you get asked all the time. Like I'm supposed to foresee the future, or I'm your dad or something. I don't care what you do. I'm going to tell you right now, it's not going to do 80 miles an hour. And that minivan that's texting with 6 kids in the back of it, that'll do 90 no problem. So just be careful out there when you're driving these older things. It's the same mentality like a motorcycle. They don't see you in these things. They don't see you in big things now. Everybody's too busy texting. We're doing something on the computer. Cell phones, tablets. Teslas have a full screen in their car now. Looks like a television. A couple years ago, that would have been the size of the TV I had. Actually handles very nicely. It's just a 4-speed, by the way. This would make a really cool parts runner, maybe for your small town or the West Coast, California, living by the beach, something like that. That'd be really cool. Maybe like a bike shop. Yeah, you can do a lot with these little trucks. Just the reason I'm doing the video is because you just don't know a lot about them. So figured I'll drive it. You can see the inside. Let's do a quick little rundown here. I am over 6 foot tall, so I'm 6'2", and about 190 pounds. So this is about how I fit in it. I don't know if you can see. It's small, but I'm used to it because of all the British and German cars, French cars, Italian. That's what this feels like. This is a fun truck. Also, even though it is kind of small, I'd be willing to bet that that size of that bed is about the size of a mid-size pickup truck nowadays. It's kind of fun about motorcycles and sports cars and anything vintage. You can't take your eyes off the road. You can't text. You can't be on the phone. You got too many things going on. You got to shift and brake, and you always got to keep your eye on coolant gauges and gas gauges. Not the speedometer in this case, but little squirrel, get out of the way.